Set 2 ADaM technical question and answers. Answers are highlighted in green. Question 1. Derivation of analysis visit. A dataset requires a derived variable A visit to categorize visits for analysis purpose. In a scenario where unscheduled visits are present, which of the following is the best way to handle the derivation of a visit according to the ADaM implementation guide? So here there are various options available, A, B, C, D. So the A says exclude unscheduled visits from the dataset. So this is not possible. We have to include all the unscheduled visits in the dataset analysis. C is assign all unscheduled visits a default value of unscheduled. No, we cannot give a default value. That is not possible. So we have to be sure that the unscheduled visits are assigned to the nearest visit date. So here the option D is include unscheduled visits as a separate category without linking to planned visits. No, technically you cannot do that. So the correct answer is B here. Assign unscheduled visits to the closest planned visit, okay, based on the visit date. Question 2. Usage of param and param CD. When constructing the ADaM dataset, how should you populate param and param CD for a laboratory dataset that includes hemoglobin and platelet count? The options here are A, B, C, D. So A is use a generic name like lab test for param and codes like 001 for param CD. No, so this is not the right answer. The C is assign param as hematology test and param CD as hem underscore test. So this is also not the correct way of including. The option D is populate both fields with arbitrary text descriptions as long as they are unique. No, this also you cannot populate just randomly. So the correct answer is B. Use the test names hemoglobin, okay, and the platelet count for param and HGBC and PLT for the param code. So the correct answer here is B. Question 3. Handling missing data. In an ADaM dataset, how should missing values for key variables like ADY analysis day be handled? So here the option A is replacing missing values with 0. No, you cannot replace the missing values with 0. That you cannot do it technically. The C option is replace missing values with the mean of the available days. No, even this also you cannot do. The option D is use a derived value based on the study's planned visit schedule. No, this is also not the correct way. So the missing values, they should generally be left as blank and ensure that underscore FL flag variables indicate missingness, right? So this is the correct answer. Question 4. Traceability. Which of the following best ensures traceability between SDTM and ADaM datasets as per the ADaM implementation guide? So the option A is including all SDTM variables directly in ADaM datasets. No, you cannot include all the SDTM variables directly. You can include only some, but rest of the other variables you might have to make certain changes and then put into the ADaM datasets. Adding derived variables in ADaM without documenting their source. No, you cannot derive the variables without documentation. You have to write the specifications, the formula, and the meaningful purpose for the derived variables. Then only you can add. Option D is recreating SDTM datasets from ADaM datasets for review purposes. No, you cannot do that. So here the answer is C, including SDTM variables in ADaM datasets and documenting derivations. So it's very essential that the formula, say for example you have an age, you have to document each and every derivation so the traceability is there. You can go back from ADaM to SDTM if you want to cross check the values. You can also go back from SDTM to ADaM if you want to cross check the values for a particular variable. Question 5. Flags for analysis. In a time to event analysis dataset, which flag variable would be most appropriate to identify the event of interest? For example, TED. So here the option B is event flag populated with Y for any event. No, this is not the right answer. C is eval C analysis value character set to that. No, this you cannot set. Param-FL set to yes for all parameters. No, this is also not the right answer. So the correct answer is the death flag populated for Y for the death events. So the reason is for those events wherever you see the death reported, only for those death flag it should be populated as Y and not other events, right? Question 6. ADT and ADY variables. For a clinical trial with multiple visits, how should ADT and ADY be derived in an ADaM dataset? The option B is both ADT and ADY can be directly copied from SDTM. No, you cannot directly copy. Then you have to make some changes into it. C is ADT should be derived from visit day and ADY is left missing for non-critical visits. No, this is also not the right. You cannot do this. ADT should represent visit day and ADY is calculated relative to the planned treatment day. No, this is also not the right answer. So the right answer here is A. ADT should match the raw data date and ADY should calculate days from the fixed reference date. So whenever you see any multiple visits, you should always be careful that ADT should represent the raw data date and ADY should calculate days from the fixed reference. Now reference could be your informed consent date, or it could be your first date of treatment exposure, or first kind of any period, or if it's a crossover design, so it could be the first period, like date of the treatment that is given or the drug that is given to the patient. Question 7. Adverse event analysis. Which variables in an ADaM dataset are critical to include for adverse event analysis? So the treatment B says adverse event flag, analysis value and param. Well, especially in the adverse event ADaM dataset, I don't think you will find any variable called as param. So that is not the right answer. Even in C is also not the right answer, because I don't think like you will be able to see the param CD, because param and param CD, they are related to the BDS structure of the ADaM dataset, and whereas the ADAE is your adverse events, like kind of structure of that dataset. And here D is sequence, subject ID and visit. I don't think you can include subject ID. You should have the unique subject ID. So even this is also not the right answer. So the correct answer here is for performing any analysis, you need to have the actual treatment, the severity and the start date and time. Question 8. Analysis dataset structures. Which type of ADaM dataset structure is appropriate for time to event analysis? Now, whenever we come back to the time to analysis, the answer itself is there in the question. So the correct answer here is B, even like without applying your brain, because you see the time to event and that's what you see the time to event. So this is just a common, but the correct answer is ADTTE, and here adverse events related to AE, this is not cannot be the right answer, because we are dealing with the time to event, that is the survival related records. BDS structure, it is not possible, because ADTTE, I don't think it's a BDS structure. And the subject level analysis dataset, which is ADSL, which is one record per subject, whereas in time to event you will have multiple events and you will have multiple time points. So it does not fall under the ADSL structure, it does not fall under the BDS structure, and it does not fall under the time to event. I mean to say the number of events or the reported term kind of a structure, it falls under the time to event structure. Question 9. Reuse of SDTM variables. When incorporating SDTM variables into ADaM, what is the primary rule to ensure compliance with the ADaM implementation guide? Option A is keep all SDTM variables unchanged in ADaM datasets. Well, it's not necessary that you need to keep unchanged. You may change wherever that you require. Option B says use SDTM variables as is but rename them for clarity. This is also not the right answer. D is include SDTM variables only if they are directly related to statistical analysis. This is also not the right answer. So the correct answer is C, or copy relevant SDTM variables and include derivations or supplementary information. So the primary rule to ensure compliance with the SDTM guideline while incorporating the SDTM variables into ADaM is to ensure that you copy this and make sure that you don't make any changes. You should not rename, and you should not include only those which are directly related to analysis. You can also include few SDTM variables which are not related to statistical analysis. Question 10. Deriving TRTA. In a scenario where the treatment assignment changes mid-study, how should TRTA, that is actual treatment, be populated in the ADaM dataset? So option A is use the first assigned treatment for all records. No, you cannot do this. Use the latest assigned treatment for all records. Even this you cannot do that. Use TRTA only for the baseline visit. No, you cannot do this. Update TRTA per visit to reflect the actual treatment administered. So this is the right answer. So whenever you see any treatment assignment changes in the middle of the study, you should ensure that the TRTA per visit should reflect the actual treatment administered. So say here, for example, at visit 1 and visit 2 they got some other treatment, whereas in visit 4 and visit 5 they got some other TRTA actual treatment assigned. So you should ensure that whatever actual treatment that is administered to the patient, that should reflect in the TRTA variable, right?
Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment mentioning any topic that you want me to make a video. Looking forward for your positive response. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a feedback comment. Many thanks for your support and having great connection.